Yep. Ding, ding, let's go. The protagonist effect. So, call it what you will, but as you're living your life, you're kind of the main character. Well, you're very much the main character in your own life. And to be a protagonist is not to absolutely dominate everyone and everything in every situation. You could imagine it more like an indie movie where each character plays its part like in any other movie, but in this in particular, there doesn't have to be clearly defined heroes, villains, goods, bads, and things like that. To be a protagonist in a very real and human sense is to be very sturdy and solid and confident and raw and real and true in the who's and the what's of your character, going in line with what the character stands for. So you, as the protagonist of your movie called life, you gotta make these things happen. What things? We're living life, and we have these inklings, these intuitions from the heart and soul level of what feels right and what doesn't. And this isn't right in terms of right and wrong, justice, crime and punishment and all those things. It's more so a feeling of coherence, resonance, alignment, things like that. Where it's like, this is more resonant than this. This is a little more dissonant. And then you may think to yourself, resonant, dissonant, towards what? There needs to be a focus, a tuning fork. There needs to be something to shoot for, right? A frequency to shoot for. Or if the tuning fork is 444 hertz, and that's what we're shooting for, cool, we're in resonance. But if we're aiming for 444, but we're singing and we're ringing at 430, then that's not as resonant, that's not as aligned as we want to be. The same goes in life, as individuals, as you, the protagonist. Because there is a better and better, more resonant you. And on the general existential level, it may just be things like drinking more quality water, getting more quality sleep, getting more quality food, or less food in general, more movement in general, whether that be just, walking, jogging, lifting weights, something that is more and more resonant for you. And that is really up to the individual. But these things are important because if you're if you're more on the spiritual side and you want more clear and better intuitions and insights on yourself and the world, right? If you want more and more of these messages, you have to tune up the vessel. You have to become more aligned. You have to become more resonant to the frequency of the clarified soul. Just straight up. Everyone's got their own individual, unique tune. But that being said, it's still the same general aim for anyone. To have a clarified soul so that the messages can get to you, so that you can act upon these messages of higher and higher, greater and greater attunement, resonance, alignment, and all these things. Because what else are you really doing with your life? Where are your priorities really? So this channel, this content in general, is all about the prime priority. Your one job of tending to the soul. Straight up. Clarifying and expanding the soul. Straight up. More clarifying, so more quote-unquote light, capital L, light gets to it. You become in better and better resonance and communication with the all, the infinite, God, whatever you want to call it, so that you can just straight up live a more clear and expanded life. Better and better. More and more real and true for you. And you find out more and more of what that is, the more and more you do the clarifying and expanding. Positive, expanding feedback loop. Beautiful. So, you as the protagonist have the job, the glory, the invitation, the opportunity to become more and more of yourself. Who are you? Well, you already know to whatever extent that you know, and you're just finding out more and more of that, right? You're solving your own mystery. Even though you have plenty of clues, you have plenty of answers, you have plenty of closure already, well, life is still going. Let's become more clear and more expanded on who we are. And in general, being a protagonist, being a main character, is a wise investment. Like actually knowing, intending, paying attention to this concept. You can call it, you as the protagonist, you as the main character, you as the author, the creator of this life. You can use whatever term you want, but this is a real existential truth where you needn't and shouldn't let other people write your script, where they can add elements that help you understand more and more of who you are. In fact, that's essential. We are living life and we are being lived, right? So, yeah, we're a protagonist, we're a main character, but it's within relationships, within a context of earth, world, society, the neighborly society, the workforce society, the town society, in the city, in the state, in the country, in the world, right? So it's all relativity, all relation, all contextual. You will find out more and more of who you are, the more that you relate to others and how others relate to you, and you will be finding more and more of your place in the world. So making it more and more of a conscious intent a more conscious awareness. Like, hey, people are actually waiting for me, are actually asking of me, are actually looking to me. I get the opportunity, I get the chance to make the impression. Not a good impression, not the best impression, but my impression. I am impressing myself upon this world. I am giving out my gifts. I am the tree giving out my apples through everything that I do. Are the apples toxifying people, or are they nourishing people? Or somewhere in between? So, I get the chance, I get the opportunity to not only be alive, which is awesome, I get the opportunity, the chance to give of myself and the potential to nourish people, the potential to affect people, the effect and the affect of people, of places, of things. I'm a walking legacy machine. I'm making it happen. Right? And I'm saying I, but this is mantra mode, right? Where if we get into these modes, these I statements that even if they don't feel 100% real and true and authentic right now, if it's an aim, if it's a direction, if it's a path that feels like is resonant to you, then obviously going for it will make you more and more of you. Better and better you. Straight up. Ooh. And then there's an aspect of power and responsibility. And then, yeah, that makes me think of the Spider-Man thing. With great responsibility, with great power comes great responsibility, and yes, the flip side. With great responsibility, as you're enacting the responsibility, comes great power. Greater responsibility, greater power, and vice versa. Right? Because we are empowering ourselves and others, and we are being empowered from others, from life in general. It's mutual. So there's this aspect of, like I was discussing before, how I get an opportunity, I get a chance to impress myself upon life. Like, really dig into that, because that's responsibility and that's power. Where, you know, whether it be a party, a family gathering, you know, friends, family, acquaintances, you know, a work thing, whatever, where you can feel the real kind of spontaneity, the openness of boundaries, the autonomy, right, of what you're doing and what you're saying at the event, where it's like, you know, I could really just become the life of the party in this way, or I can really bring the energy down, right? I can really bring the energy up, I can bring it down, I can bring it sideways, I can move it around through bodily movement expression, through word expression, through changing and shifting the topics, to bringing forth topics, to diminishing other topics, right? And this sort of archetypal example can carry itself out anywhere in life where there's a certain amount of freedom and autonomy, where you feel it out, you're observing, and you're like, you know what? It's getting a little chummy. I can really kind of stew things around. I can really conjure things up that, ideally, that are making things better and more lively, right? We have those opportunities, those chances, those responsibilities, and those powers within us, right? Some real protagonist energy, right? Some main character energy. It's real. It's true. So, lock in, right? All right, that's good. As I like to end videos with respects, much respect to you, much respect to us, humans, our multi-layered, multifaceted, multi-dimensional existence, the mind, the emotions, the heart and soul, the body, our ability to express, to give, to communicate, to build and grow. It's amazing. Much respect to us and these gifts of these faculties, and the gifts that planet Earth gives us. Food, water, air, shelter, fire, the sun, the moon, every layer in between, the physical, the metaphysical, God, right? Call it whatever you want. I call it God. The infinity of it all. Right? That this is all just here. All just being gifted to us. What is beating our heart? What is keeping the trees, the animals, the humans, the atmosphere, and everything in nature? What is keeping it going and sustained? What's keeping the molecules in agreement? The atoms to the molecules to the organs to the bodily systems, not just humans, but other systems, where it's like something is keeping these peace treaties, right? These agreements that are saying like, all right, fine, I'll stay this body, I'll stay this tree, I'll stay this car, I'll keep the cognition going, right? What's keeping all this going? These gifts that we're surrounded by. It's awesome. So yeah, much respect to that and all of that and everything in between. This is Mr. Mike. Catch you later.